Thunder in Barcelona, Pecco Bagnaya's Friday collapse. Pecco Bagnaia came to Barcelona with ghosts at his back and thunder over his head. He arrived on a track where he had danced in 2023 like a champion made of steel, a track that once bowed to his dominance, a place where Ducati rolled red carpets for its golden sun. He came carrying the weight of a double crown, the scars of losing a third title by the cruelest of margins in 2024, and the fresh taste of hope from Hungary, where one change in setup gave him a brief reminder of who he once was. But on this Friday, Catalunya didn't open its arms to him. It spat him out, chewed his confidence into dust, and left him stranded between two test riders, staring at a timing sheet that screamed humiliation. 21st. 1 second off the pace. A reigning double champion reduced to a ghost in broad daylight. He didn't just lose time on the stopwatch. He lost belief, momentum, the aura that separates kings from mortals. And as if the gods of racing were mocking him, across the same pit lane, Marquez took the exact same GP25 that Pecco called unrideable and bent it like steel under fire. Marc wrestled that bike through corners, dragged it by the scruff of the neck, and turned misery into menace. The crowd could see the split screen. Marquez carving laps like a demon who never forgot his covenant with speed, and Bagnaia, the factory leader, stuck between Michele Pirro and a test mule. That's not just defeat. That's public execution. Pecco himself admitted it, even worse than Balaton. Imagine that, after Hungary, where he looked like a man rediscovering himself, he thought the nightmare was easing. He thought he was ready to stand tall again. But Barcelona sent him crashing down lower, into a basement where champions don't belong. His voice carried it all. I don't know what to say anymore, honestly, because in the end, it's always the same story. That's not frustration. That's surrender knocking at the door. And yet, he refuses to resign. He says it, he insists. There'll never be any resignation. But words are one thing, lap times are another. Right now, the stopwatch doesn't listen to hope. Here's the thing, Bagnaia was never supposed to be here. This is the same man who in 2022 and 2023 carved his name into Ducati history, who carried the weight of a factory that spent 15 years crawling in the shadows of Honda and Yamaha. He was the one who lifted them to glory, who fought through Fabio Quartararo's resistance, who silenced critics with wins across Mugello, Assen, Austria, Misano. He was the man who crashed at Le Mans, stood up, and then unleashed a streak so brutal that 2022 will forever carry his stamp. He was the man who fought Jorge Martin last year, tooth and nail, and lost the title by inches, not because he lacked fire, but because fate twisted the knife on the wrong days. He won more races than anyone else in 2024. He carried Ducati's colors into every Sunday like a warrior. One single crash save, one flick of a wrist could have sealed him a triple crown. But fate didn't give him that inch. And now, in 2025, fate has given him a machine that feels like betrayal. The GP25 was supposed to be his weapon. Instead, it feels like a cage. The front end won't hold, the feedback disappears, and every time he tries to push, it folds under him like sand. He looks at Jorge Martin and Fabio Di Giannantonio flying, at Marc Marquez twisting physics, and he wonders if the factory bike is cursed just for him. He admitted it himself. There's definitely something we can't get right on my side of the garage, because on the other side, the same bike is going incredibly fast. Imagine the mental torture. Same machine, same colors, but one man looks like a king, the other looks like a broken rookie. That's not just mechanical, that's psychological warfare. Barcelona was supposed to be his redemption. He won here twice last year. He dominated with that smooth precision that made Catalunya his garden. But Friday showed no mercy. He was over a second adrift, not even scraping the top 20. Think about that. The double world champion, Ducati's face, the man they crowned as the heir of Borgo Panigale, rolling in slower than satellite bikes, slower than test riders. With all due respect, Michele Pirro should never be the reference for Bagnaia. And yet here he was, stuck in his shadow, staring at names he once lapped with contempt. Ducati's boss, Davide Tardozzi, tried to light the fire. We expect Pecco to do his part to solve these problems. He must help us help him. That's not just technical talk. That's the factory saying, "Wake up, champion. We built this empire with you. Don't collapse on us now." But Bagnaya's reply was chilling. "I'm trying, but I'm 21st. So it's not the correct way." That's the honesty of a man who feels his own weapons turning against him. Here's what makes it brutal. Pecco isn't just losing to the field. He's losing to Marquez. And Mark isn't just another rival. He's the OG, the ghost that never leaves. Mark is the storm that destroyed Rossi's final years. The monster who walked into Honda and rewrote the rulebook. The man who turned crashes into victories and bone fractures into war stories. Pecco knows that when Mark smells blood, he doesn't stop. He doesn't just beat you, he breaks you. He's doing it right now, bending the GP25 to his will, proving to the world that the bike is fine, that it's Bagnaya who is broken. Every circuit Pecco once ruled is now thunderstruck. Mugello used to roar his name. Assen bowed to his artistry. Red Bull Ring was his hunting ground. Misano was his cathedral. But in 2025, each of these circuits feels like it has turned against him, like the gods have decided his crown was borrowed time. He rides now like a man dragging a street-legal bike against MotoGP prototypes, like someone watching his past self on replay while his present self drowns. But here's the thin hope. Champions don't die easy. Bagnaia said it himself. There'll never be any resignation. This isn't a man walking away. This is a man lost in a labyrinth, bleeding, staggering, but not yet flat on the floor. He has clawed back before. In 2022, he was 91 points down midseason and clawed his way to the crown. He knows darkness. He has walked through fire before. Right now, it looks like Mark is the executioner, Jorge is the assassin, and the rest of the grid are vultures circling. But Bagnaia has one card left, his resilience. Time will tell if this is the fate of a champion fading into shadows or the setup for the ugliest, bloodiest comeback we've ever seen. Maybe he's doomed to watch killers like Mark, Jorge, and Pedro rewrite the script while he fades into used to be. Or maybe, just maybe, Barcelona will be remembered as rock bottom, the place where Pecco Bagnaia saw the abyss, spat in its face, and crawled back out with scars deeper than ever. Because that's the thing about champions. They don't get to choose when the world stops believing, but they always get one last shot to make the world regret doubting them. For now, Pecco is broken, battered, and lost, standing 21st between test riders while thunder crashes all around. But the story isn't over, not yet. This year it's done. Pecco is not Mark we know, but the Pecco now is not the Pecco we saw, that's for sure. And Ducati has no answers either for Pecco or Digia. And Mark is making Ducati win, not Ducati gave him the destroyer.